What's going on? So, the big news, right? Yeah, the big fake news. The big news is that 2024 elections, right? Just came out. You know what? Seriously, you're going to spend the next 2 years what you did between 2014 and 2016. And let me explain. Let me explain how this works. So, first of all, they want to completely keep you busy, preoccupied. They want to steal your they want to hijack your life, your mind, everything that you do. And if they can hijack you and own you and split you up with everybody and keep you totally preoccupied, and the things you are preoccupied with is also their perceptions that they changed. Your perceptions aren't even your own perceptions. Your wants aren't your wants. It's what you think you want, what you think you should do, where you think you should be. That's all part of the social engineering. And so they want to keep you busy. So let me just tell you what's going to happen in the next 2 years. I'll just predict it. You remember in 2014, 2016, what happened? Oh my God, this guy's running. Oh, he's no good. He abused women. Well, they always like to put stuff in the news, women, guns, race. Okay, women, guns, race. I mean, um, just they want to split us up. They want us to hate everybody. What the newest thing now is the white alpha male. Oh God, he's no good. He's hated. I mean, it's unbelievable. So they keep you completely busy for those 2 years, long time ago, right? And you're on Facebook, and there's people getting paid, and you're getting spammed, and you got these the NGOs, non-governing entities, which are funded by you. And by the way, all the laws, that you see today, all the rules and laws and regulations, the real laws that we follow, they're not voted for down in Washington. Man, these things are like part of bills, and they're all from NGOs, non-governing entities. There's one particular fella, his name is Soros. I gotta say it wrong because they'll probably find this video and tag me with me saying that guy's name. He contributes to 500 of these NGOs. Okay, this guy destroys countries, and we know he's done that. And I mean, the guy's old, and his whole group of clan, his buddies, they're all part of that, hanging out at United Nations, at the Council of Foreign Relations. They go to the Bilderbergs, they go to the Bohemian. And someone went to Harvard and Yale and part of those clubs and 33s. I mean, we're not even going to get into all the society stuff, right? People who run the world. And so he like invents stuff, and doesn't invent, he pays for it. And so you got this Matters group of people. And he by the way, he funded that whole thing. He created that whole thing. And then of course you got low IQ people running around screaming, you know, I want some money because what happened 300 years ago, like, you're the only person that's a slave. I mean, I was this. My families were slaves too. Okay, and so the Irish. Okay, whatever. We're not. I don't really care. I'm not getting in it because even if my great grandparents were slaves, I'm not a slave. I don't even know them. Uh, I'm in my cottage. I mean, really. So so they invent this stuff, and what they do is they create anxiety. They create mass hysteria. They create hate, and basically they want to split up. Just like they always talk about these things, and so the political thing is just one thing. So they're all busy, and the media is completely busy, and they get you into these things. Russia, 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 Russia. Ukraine, 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 Ukraine. Putin, 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 Putin. He lies, he lies, he lies, he lies, he lies. He lies, he lies, he lies, he lies, he lies. He lies, he lies. Before you know it, you think the guy lies, right? I mean, oh, he lies. I'll never forget. I was getting tires in the inner city, Cleveland, and I'm in this room, and there's people waiting. It's one of these places down on Payne Avenue. It gets pretty busy, and I'm the only guy with this color, and in this place. And MSNBC's on the news, And they're like, he lies, Russia, Russia, Russia. Oh, by the way, I don't live in your two choice world, so I'm not. Don't think of me as on this side or your side or anybody's side, because I'm not in your world. I don't believe in the two choice world. And so I get up. I don't get up. I'm sitting down, and I go, "That's funny." I go, and I say it loud. There's like 6 or 7 people in the room. I go, "I wonder what did he lie about?" And this one guy's like getting crazy. I go, "Hey, tell me what he lied about. I just want to know. I'm not too smart. I don't watch TV. He goes, "Oh, he just lies." I go, "Well, what did he lie about that hurt you? He lies. He just lies. He lies. He lies." And I go, "He does really?" And the guys are sitting, "Yeah, he lie about everything." I go, "What did he lie about? Just one thing." The one guy just gets all pissed and walks out. None of these people in this room knew anything. These are complete collectives, inner city people. They go home and they eat their Doritos, okay? And they drink their beer, whatever, their wine, whatever they do, smoke their weed, wait for the first of the month. And so people's perceptions are skewed. People are brainwashed. And you hear that term cognitive dissonance, right? Culture cancellation, culture can't, yeah, culture cancellation or cancel culture, whatever you want to call it. Okay. I'm going to call it the wall. Let's call it the wall. Cognitive dissonance is the wall. And what happens is when you traumatize a mind, you can easily cause dissociation. And how you traumatize the mind, you do it every day, all day long. You do it on TV, you do it on the news, you just do it all day. And not you do it, they do it. 2 buildings, boom, boom, airplanes, boom, boom, Mr. Batman guy in the theater, boom, 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 right? The schools, boom, 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 right? And every time you see that, it's part of the agenda. It's part of their narrative. And it's all about distorting and disassociating your mind. Because once they can dissociate your mind, then they can program it. And how they program it? With frequency. We live in these cities with tons of towers, and we're getting bombarded with radio waves, frequencies. We're getting bombarded with microwaves, and radiation. And all this stuff is messing up our mind, just messing up our electrical systems. And so they can easily change our perceptions, especially with repetitive trauma-based mind programming. And so then what happens is I have friends, okay, that I was friends with for 30 years. And ever since the pre-T guy, okay, and actually a little bit before that, they started like switching. They're breaking us up, making us, it used to be, well, who's got the best thing, back in the days, am I going to vote for Humphrey? He says that. Today it's a whole different ballgame. And if people have turned into haters, and cognitive dissonance simply is, in cancel culture, is simply the blocking. So like if I say a word to somebody who's been completely mentally, their mind has been hijacked, okay, or disassociated, and I say a certain word, all of a sudden, that's what cognitive dissonance is. I'll say, like, I'll be talking to some woman, right, who doesn't like men. She likes women, whatever. And I happen to be this guy with this color, and I'm alpha. I'm not authentic. I'm an alpha, okay? They don't like alphas anymore. And I just say the A word, abortion, okay? Bam! It doesn't matter what I say after that. Her mind just went click. The door went down. It's just the door just closed. And it's that's what cognitive dissonance is. It's where the mind just cancels out anything else. And this is how good the CIA, when the CIA started in 1947, they've been doing this for a long time. They changed the frequencies on our televisions. They changed the wording. They changed the vocabulary. They changed the way they repeat things. They changed subliminal programming. You could read books on this stuff, okay? I mean, it's happening. And it's more and more and more and more. And like people say, oh man, why are people so dumb? They're not dumb. They have these mental blocks that their mind has been dissociated. So if your mind, you have what's called the core mind. Your core mind, let's say your core mind is this big. Everything is a core mind. They can't get into the core mind. But the minute they break a wall, they can dissociate and create multiple personalities. Now, maybe we're not like the guy, the Parkland guy that talks to himself. You know what? And they said he's crazy. He's not crazy. He is talking to himself, and he does hear voices because his mind has been disassociated, and that's a whole nother video, and so they want to keep us preoccupied. They don't want us doing stuff. So, and then all of a sudden, what happens in 2016? It wasn't an accident. It's all planned. And so you had one guy in there that the first president, and he has the clunker program, and he tries to have Medicaid, he tries to have the healthcare system and all that. And we'll come back to that in a minute because we'll talk about one of the politicians. And and so now this guy's president, and now what they do is instead of just letting him do his thing, they want to keep us fighting and keep us splitting. So they start creating all kind of conspiracies, lies in Russia, da 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 da, and then so we're busy during the whole 4 years, and creating what's called more hate, more divide, more cancellation, more walls, and so then comes around, then it comes around at 220, and then of course they can't have the same guy in there for 8 years in a row because he did a ton of damage. He's messing them up a little bit, which they wanted it done anyways, because you can't you can't do too much of one thing. If you go back and forth, you can keep an equilibrium. You can control the people. People get out of hand. You break them up. You split them up. You take them out. Hey, you take them out. They take out a lot of people. The CIA, #1 hitman on this planet. Matter of fact, they got busted. Nobody even knows this, but in 1975. They were giving up all kind of secrets, especially the stuff in the Cold War. And you could look this stuff up. But they had a gun, okay? A gun. They call it the heart attack gun. And this gun ran on batteries. And you can look this up. I'm making this up. 1975. It had a range of 100 yards. It had a pretty good range. And what it did is they call it darts. They weren't darts. They were ice bullets that had some kind of neurotoxin in them, I don't know, from jellyfish or something. And what would happen is this would make a little teeny hole. And you remember that justice that died with a heart attack? Gotta wonder about him, right? He went to that deer camp and he didn't make it. And then all of a sudden the next morning, what they do? They cremated his body? They cremated his body? Seriously? And so this thing makes a hole about this big, and it goes into the body, and the neurotoxins apparently there's so much toxin from one of these jellyfish that it can kill. They said that little bit can kill like 16,000 people. I don't know. Somebody comes up with these numbers. But it kills, all it's got to do is kill the one, right? And it kills the one, they get a heart attack, and it goes down as a heart attack. This CIA has a lot of ways of doing this stuff. You hear people, they hang themselves. Like, was like one guy, he had a bunch of girls that he took and hit them for 10 years, okay? He was MK Ultra. Totally. Because he was at that age. He was probably CIA experiment. He was probably a sleeper. He took these kids, and he knew how to do this stuff, how to do mind control on these girls. And then all of a sudden, he goes to jail, right? They catch him, and he hangs himself with sheets. Now, here's the funny part. The jail that he hung himself in, I spent 2 years. Back in the days, I ran a testing laboratory, and that was jail 2 in Cleveland. And I ran that project for the city. I was their eyes to make sure no one was cheating. That they were like importing stuff they shouldn't be putting in that building and checking fireproofing and all that. I did it all. I was there for 2-3 years. Excuse me. And there was no tearaway sheets in that building. How do you hang yourself when you don't have tearaway sheets? Oh, he hung himself. And so you gotta be careful. Motorcycle accidents, snowmobile accidents, carbon monoxide accidents. Man, there's these hitmen, man, for the CIA got a list. And and if they don't put you on the list, they blackmail you. And all the politicians are blackmailed. Not all, but a lot of them. And the way you blackmail a politician is once you get into office, you invite them to a party. Pretty simple, right? And they got busted doing this too. You ever hear of Boys Town? You ever hear of the Franklin scandal? Pizzagate? What they would do is they would give them a roofie. You hear of roofies? You think that was invented by horny men that want to pick up chicks? The roofie thing's been going on. That's CIA trick stuff. And they give these guys a roofie. I don't know, one guy, I'll say his name in a minute. They give him a roofie, right? And they got the hotel room right there, and and he somehow he goes up to the hotel room with some hot babe, right? But then while he's passed out, they do a switcheroo. And the guy, the photographer and company used to do that to work for the CIA. Their helicopter or their airplane crashed. They died. The guys that found the material, the police, the sheriff's kid found it. He's dead. And and so they would take pictures, but they would switcheroo and they'd fly these kids in little jets. There's all kinds of cases on this stuff from the Franklin scandal. Read the book. Well, some of these. Whenever you read one book from one person, then you got to read a few more books and then look at the crazy people and then put your own opinion, because the truth is the gathering of biased opinions. The truth is in your mind. My truth and your truth are different, because maybe you're skewed because you watch MSNBC and you watch Melissa Perry and everything she says, or you're skewed by those ugly people, those crazy nut freak show people on that morning woman show. They got 5 women sitting there talking about superfluous crap, brainwashing all the women in this world on their little couches. And if you just watch that, that's your biased opinion. You think that's reality. You are ignorant. You're ignorant. Ignorant doesn't mean you're stupid. Ignorant means you just don't know, because you don't have enough information to actually form an opinion in your mind, because you're busy on one side. You got to look at all of them. Like, I don't like Fox. I don't like MSC. I don't like but you know what? Once in a while, I like to watch MSNBC because it's very entertaining to me. Because I'm not looking at what they're telling you. I'm trying to figure out why they're telling you that. Then you look at the Fox and you see what they're telling you and why they're telling you. And then you put the two and two together. And then you start to see the reality and you see the truth. And you're like, holy shit. That's what's going on. Oh, God, I got off. See, I don't have a script. I never do. Okay. Oh, yeah. So they they fly. So these guys are sleeping, right? They're roofied in their hotel rooms. They got this hot chick next to them. They think, but then the switcheroo happens, and they put a little girl in there, a little boy, a little 16-year-old girl. They start taking pictures, right? And then maybe they leave them in there in the morning, depending on if they like the guy or not. If not, they take him out. But let's say 30 years down the line, you're the last guy holding out, the last politician holding out, let's say, on Obamacare. Remember that one? And you're the last guy holding out, and all of a sudden, like a week later, you're coming out of the Air Force One, waving your hand with Obama, like, hey, how you doing? I just took a plane ride. And then the next day, you vote. How do you know that guy didn't get shown some pictures from 30, 40 years ago? That's right. These guys are brainwashed. This is what they did. Now, if you read the Franklin scandal, you read Boys Town, you read what they do with these orphanages, you read about Pizza Bank, you read about all that children's stuff. Okay? Some of that is Illuminati stuff, some of that is blood ritual, some of that is adrenochrome, some of that. We're not going to get into all that, because there's so much out there, and people only hear what the mainstream tells them, then you don't really have any clue what it's all about. It's about a lot of stuff. And so these people are brainwashed, okay? And they're blackmailed. So you always wonder, like, why, like you were thinking about, you would have thought Pence was going to do something, right? Didn't do shit. I don't know about Pence. I don't know. I remember I was looking him up 10 years ago before he became a VP. And I did see that he was visiting. There was some stuff I found. He went to a couple lodges. So maybe he's one of those, 33s. I don't. They try to tell you that Trump's a 33 because he's got all the Masonic stuff in one of his places, all gold, in one of his apartments or condos, whatever he's got in a high rise. I don't know. Well, that's another video. So basically so now for the next 2 years, what's going to happen? They this is 2 years too early. They should, you should know, you shouldn't be told 2 years in advance. Now you're going to be the news all day long. This rally and that rally, and he lied and he found this and this in Russia, this in Ukraine, and it's just going to go on for 2 months. And you're all going to be wasting time. You're going to be watching the TV. You're going to get glued, and they're going to be doing that thing I was talking about, trauma-based mind control, repetitive programming, more cognitive dissonance, more divide, more hate, okay? And 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 they're going to preoccupy you. They're going to just take they're just going to take your time away from you. And what could you be doing with your time? You could be doing a lot of stuff. I mean, you could be like searching real news. Like what's real news? Real news could be food. What's going on with the food? Why don't you look at that? Why are the farmers all quitting? Why are they subsidizing farmers? Why are they paying farmers not to grow? Why are there floods happening in certain areas and not in others? Okay, sorry, somebody just called me, and I had to get rid of it. Please don't call me back. And so that's the problem with going live. And so you should be looking at the food thing. There's this guy called the New Age Farmer. Check him out. It'll blow your mind. And so you should be thinking about, why are food prices so expensive? Why do they have the animal food hate groups going on? Oh, and now why are they killing? Why are they killing chickens because of bird flu? In England, they had one case of bird flu and they killed like 1 million chickens. You know, they're doing that here too. I mean, why? So, that could be some news you want to look up and figure out what's going on with this food thing. How do I prepare? And you're going to go to a grocery store, you're going to spend $50 and you're going to bring home one bag of food. Every dinner is going to cost you $20 at home. Cook it yourself, and so maybe that's something you could be looking up. Figure out, why am I taking all my medication? Start studying that. Finding out, is there holistic things I could do? Maybe they're not telling me everything. Maybe I got to, that 70% of people have parasites. They have single cell parasites. They have worms. Okay, they have bugs, and like there's a ton of different parasites. And if you got a parasite living in your intestines, small or large intestines, that's your immune system, right? And so if that guy's taken over, you don't even know it, because you don't believe that you could have worms in you, or parasites, or protozoa, or amoebas. 80% of people have them. The doctors won't tell you this. And they take away your nutrients. All of a sudden, you're low deficient on calcium. You're low deficient on iron. You don't have zinc. And then what happens? More shit goes down. And this happens and that happens. Before you know it, you're seeing specialists. And you're on this medication because low blood pressure. You're on this medication because you got asthma. All this stuff. I mean, some of these bugs lay their eggs in your lungs. Yeah, and every 30 days when the moon comes, there's more eggs in there. And and you're coughing, right? And you're doing that inhaler shit. You're seeing the doctor. You're not solving the problem. You're just treating the side effects. And so you get all these side effects. In the meantime, if you just got rid of the bug that was in you, your immune system would be up. And if your immune system would be up, then you probably wouldn't be sick, and you wouldn't be going to a doctor. You wouldn't be wasting gas. You wouldn't be staying home. You wouldn't be taking pills that you don't even really know how they make them. And sure, pills are certain herbs and roots and whatever they do, but they're chemically done. And so our bodies are all different. We're all different. We live in different parts of the world. We eat differently. We grow up differently. Our DNA is different. And so they'll affect us differently. And there'll be side effects. So maybe we could skip all that. So that may be something you might want to do instead of watching The View or a couple zombie movies, So so you could check all that out, and then maybe like you might want to look at the books you're reading, look at the authors, where they coming from. I mean, are they from a Rockefeller printing press? I mean, that's a whole nother thing. They got rid of holistic medicine. Rockefeller did. Why did he get rid of it? Could have gained money off of that back in the 20s and 30s and 40s. And then he came up with the medical association. Then before you know it, you got the pharmaceutical people. Then you got the CEOs of the pharmaceutical people becoming politicians. Aspartame, perfect example. Man, am I glad that Rumsfeld guy ain't around anymore. He was a scientist, CEO, became a politician, went back to being a scientist, brought in some chemicals, fake sugar. Everybody's getting fat, got diabetes. They're all dying. Rockefeller is like, not Rockefeller, but his medical association is making money off of it. And we're all fat. because we're eating bullshit food. We're eating crap food. And then that same company that buys aspartame ends up making GMO, right? Then it gets a bad name, Monsanto, which now is Bayer. And if you backtrack all that, you'll find out that these are the same companies that were like making chemicals during World War II in Germany. I mean, you know, that's your news. Do your research, look stuff up, get the truth, figure stuff out. I mean, they don't want you to do this. They want to own you. They want to, like just now, like they started selection stuff 2 years early because they were running out of shootings. I mean, first of all, there weren't any shootings for a while because they were doing lies, 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 Russia, 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 lies, lies, Russia, shootings. And as soon as people got tired of that, they had to throw in a couple trials. Oh yeah, got to throw in a trial here and there. That last 3 months. I mean, you got the kid down in Florida. Boom, boom, boom. That was 3 months. Then even you start with the OJ thing. With the women OJ thing, and they're all motivated, socially engineered. They are all part of the agenda and the narrative. It's totally amazing. I mean, the last one was the Parkland guy, right? So you gotta think outside the box on that one. They did let out. Oh, he had voices. That's just normalizing the voices. Because 20 years from now they're gonna let you know, yeah, our minds have been disassociated, but you'll be already normalized and conditioned and desensitized to it, right? So they just throw these things in there, but the real case is, bada bing, bada boom, right? That thing, and and that's a whole nother narrative, okay? Because you can't. I mean, who's going to invade America when there's more of these things in America than there are people? No one's ever going to invade us. But the other same token, it's going to be tough for if a whole street got pissed off and they were all on the same side, they can't have that because half that street is on the left, the other half's on the right. The ones on the right are also split up because some of them hunt Bambi and some don't. And those guys are split up because the Bambi people don't eat food. And on the other side of the street, the left side, you got the X, Y, Z, LBGT, STGB, LM, you know what I'm talking about, people, right? And then you got the A, I believe in A and I don't believe in A people. And so you got a street, right? A lot of people got guns on the street, but they all hate each other. They all have different values. So if somebody comes marching down the middle of the street, they're not all going to sit on their front porch pointing this at them, and so they divide the people. Later they'll take this away, and it's all social engineering. They do this. We're just the last ones in line, man. They've been doing this to every country for decades. America just happens to be the last one in line. And so if you don't live in a two-choice world and you don't waste your time, you start to see more. You open up your mind. You get more bias. More bias means more truth in your brain. More truth in your brain means more time, more to be an individual, more critical thinking, more survival, less of your immune system being crashing because now you know how to fix your immune system. And if you spend your time on important stuff like maybe tomatoes or maybe firewood, maybe a cold cellar, yeah, things like that, you're going to live longer. And maybe you'll figure out that you don't need to take those 9 medications because you found out that you had an amoeba for 9 years. You get rid of the amoeba, take some supplements. Oh my God, now you're cured. But you know what? They don't want that to happen. They want you brainwashed. They want you sick. They want to hijack you. And now they're starting. 2 years before the election, 2020, it's not even 2 years yet. And they're starting the 2024 election. 2 years. You imagine that. They probably ran out of, trials. And, people get tired of TV. That's why Netflix does good, because people are sick of watching TV, the news and stuff, and they watch it once in a while. The newspapers, there are no more newspapers. No one reads them anymore. It's just like, You don't have to. You hit your phone, and actually, your phone's kind of your newspaper now, anyways. But, anyways, um, I guess I'm done for now. So I want to just let you know 2024, it's only 2020, and they're starting up again. And they've been doing this for the last 10 years. And you're going to waste your time. I would say don't watch any of it. Don't go to any of it. Turn it off. For sure. Turn it off. Hey, thanks for coming on. This morning's rant. I ain't going to do this every morning, but I felt like doing it this morning.